Whiskers is no ordinary cat, he's magical. And tonight is no ordinary night. It's the night of the new moon. And when the moon is new, magic is strong. Whiskers lives in a house with a human family, but every night when the moon is full or new, he leaves them a note, slips out the cat flap and goes exploring. On this particular night, he can sense something very important is going to happen. Something big. And it does. As he pads silently down a street past sleeping humans and their locked-up shops, he sees a flash of lightning split the sky above the old abandoned library on the corner. What's that? The window is boarded up. No one should be there. So why did the lights just flash? Curious, Whiskers pushes open the door. It creaks like an ancient ship's timbers. The smell of dust and decay hits him and makes his eyes water. But his curiosity is stronger than his fear. And then he sees it. A single shaft of moonlight illuminates a book lying open on one of the tables. This is no ordinary book. It's an ancient grimoire filled with spells and incantations, and its pages are alive with magical energy. One page in particular glows brighter than the rest. As Whiskers approaches, he hears a voice inside his head. Find the midnight gate before the first light of dawn, for only when the shadows are deepest can it be found. Then the voice fades and the page goes dark. But what does it mean? The midnight gate? Is it some kind of trap set by the necromancer, Malice the Cruel, who used to live here? Or is it something much more? Before he can ponder it anymore, Whiskers hears a crash in the street outside. Someone or something is coming. He hides behind a bookshelf just as a ginger tomcat leaps through the window. Looks like the coast is clear, he says, shaking himself. I wonder what all the commotion was about. Probably just those pesky dogs. Don't worry, I scared them off. The ginger cat looks around the dusty room. What brings you here? He asks Whiskers. I saw a flash of lightning. Did you see that? Lightning in the middle of the night? Not likely. You must have imagined it. He yawns. So, what brings you to this dump? Whiskers hesitates. He doesn't know if he can trust this stranger, but he really needs help deciphering the book. Do you know anything about this place? He asks cautiously. The ginger cat sniffs the air. I smell adventure. Are you trying to break into Melisandre's grimoire? That'll be a hard nut to crack. Better leave that where it is. How do you know what I'm thinking? Because unlike some cats, I have brains as well as brawn. I've studied these things before. What's written in that book can't be good. Magic's a dangerous thing. It should never be messed with. But I need your help to read it, pleads Whiskers. Why should I help you? We're practically strangers. Because we may need each other's help to save the world, says Whiskers earnestly. And the ginger cat couldn't help but like the kid. There was something about his bright green eyes and bushy tail that reminded him of a scrappy kitten, helpless and yet hopeful. All right, kid, I'll help you, he says, puffing out his chest. I'm Captain Fluffington the Fearless. Call me Captain. Whiskers shakes his paw. I'm Whiskers. Together, they decipher the ancient text. Captain explains that the book is full of dark magic, the kind of magic used by Malice the Cruel to raise armies of the undead and plunge the world into darkness. He also tells Whiskers that according to legend, beneath the city lies a secret portal, the Midnight Gate. It's guarded by the shadow mice, creatures of pure shadow magic. They keep the evil in the underworld and keep it from spilling into our world. But there's a prophecy. It foretells a time when the mice will fail and the Shadow King will rise to plunge the world into eternal darkness. I think Malice was trying to break the seal on the Midnight Gate, says Captain, his whiskers twitching. If she could get into the underworld, she would use her dark magic to raise the Shadow King and start the war again. The last thing they read sends a shiver down Whiskers' spine. It says only a pure heart can open the Midnight Gate. Suddenly, Whiskers remembers the first line of the prophecy. He didn't catch it at first because he didn't understand the old words. But now he realizes how important it is. Only a cat with a pure heart can save the world. Whiskers knows what he has to do. He bids goodbye to Captain and sets off into the night. His heart pounds in his chest like a drum. What if he gets trapped in the underworld and never sees the light of day again? But it's too late to turn back now. He runs across rooftops, leaping from one to another until he reaches the abandoned library. He pauses on the roof to catch his breath and take in the view. The entire city lies bathed in moonlight, sleeping peacefully beneath the cloak of night. Suddenly, Whiskers feels a rush of confidence. He may be just a small cat, but even the smallest cat can be a hero if he has a pure heart. And then he sees it. In the distance, below the clock tower, a swirling vortex of shadows has appeared. The midnight gate. Taking a deep breath, Whiskers leaps to the ground and walks toward the gate. As he approaches, the air grows cold and he can feel the evil emanating from it, but he doesn't stop. He keeps walking until he's right in front of it, and then he reaches out a paw and touches it. As soon as his paw makes contact, Whiskers feels a jolt of energy course through him. The world around him begins to shake and crumble, and he finds himself falling into darkness. When Whiskers opens his eyes, he finds himself in a dark and gloomy underworld. The sky above is filled with swirling shadows, and the air is thick with the stench of decay. The ground beneath his paws is cold and hard like stone, and in the distance he can hear the sound of dripping water. But Whiskers doesn't have time to take in his surroundings. He can feel the evil here, and he knows he has to find the shadow mice as quickly as possible. Luckily, the prophecy told him exactly where to find them. All he has to do is follow the sound of dripping water. And sure enough, after a few minutes of walking, he comes to a cavern filled with the most beautiful sight he's ever seen. In the center of the cavern is a pool of water surrounded by luminous crystals that glow with an otherworldly light. And guarding the pool are the shadow mice. Their fur as black as night, their eyes gleaming like emeralds. They're small but fierce, and Whiskers can tell they're the bravest and most loyal creatures he's ever met. "So you're the one the prophecy foretold," says one of the shadow mice, his voice echoing in the cavern. "You're the cat who will save us from the darkness and bring light back into our world." "Yes, I'm here to help you," says Whiskers, his voice ringing with determination. "The necromancer, Melissa, the cruel. She opened the gate and unleashed the shadows into your world. Now we must close it again and trap her in the underworld where she belongs." The shadow mice nod their heads in unison and spring into action. They dive into the pool and emerge transformed. Their small bodies grow larger, their fur bristling with power. The weakest of them become warriors, the timid ones fearless. Together they form a circle around Whiskers, protecting him as he moves to the center of the cavern. He knows what he has to do. Closing the midnight gate will take all the remaining strength from the shadow mice. And once they're gone, the portal will remain open, and the evil will spill into their world. With a heavy heart, Whiskers reaches out a paw and touches the pool. The moment his paw makes contact, the ground begins to rumble, and the crystals glow brightly. The shadow mice let out a final squeak, a farewell cry that echoes in the cavern, and then they vanish. The portal is closed. When Whiskers wakes up the next morning, he's lying on a rooftop in his own neighborhood. The sun is shining and the birds are singing. He stretches and yawns, then pads down the side of the building and slips inside. The family he lives with is just waking up. Their little girl, Sophie, runs to greet him, and he purrs loudly. To them, he's just an ordinary cat, but at night, he's a hero. And as long as the moon shines in the night sky, Whiskers will continue to protect his world from the forces of darkness.